Hey y'all, welcome to a new video. So today is a review that is long in the making. We're going to talk about Kiko Milano. So this is a brand that I've heard rumblings on and off for years, but I've never been able to get my hands on because they've been exclusive to Europe. But they are recently available in Macy's as well as through Amazon. So I bought a bunch of stuff and I kept the stuff I liked, and I went through this process of returning stuff that I didn't like and keeping stuff that I liked, and it took a while to accumulate a full face of stuff that I genuinely liked. So we'll talk about the stuff I liked and the stuff I kept, and then at the end of the video we'll go through the things that I returned and that I did not like. But I've done 2 different faces of makeup with this stuff because you can get something a little lighter and a little more ethereal, as well as something a little more full like I did in this look, which I really love. I really love this look. So we're going to go through everything I used. We're going to talk about the packaging, the formulas, the colors, all of that stuff. So let's jump into it. So for both looks, I started with the clear brow gel. It's hard to make me mad with a clear brow gel. I go in with a clear brow gel and then I put a pencil in over it because it keeps the pencil in place. The pencil I have in my brows is not Kiko Milano. I did not feel it necessary to buy yet another pencil when I have a ton of them in front of me. But the thing I like about this is how tiny this little wand is and how easy it is to get it through my brows. I don't feel like I have to fight with it. It's a little stiff. And with my brows, I find it really useful and really utilitarian. I'm gonna keep buying this because it's also about $15. So the brow gel, I'll go through it, I'll finish it, I'll probably buy it again if I don't have another one come across my desk. I then went in with the Insta Moisture Glow Foundation in the shade 1R, which is an absolutely perfect match for my skin tone. It's a great undertone, it's nice and neutral, it's pale, and it can be built up to get a full coverage, full beat, or it can be sheared out and it's nice and thin and you just get a lovely skin tint. I've added this to my sunscreen and my moisturizer before, and it works in every application. It works being blended out with a brush, it works with a sponge. I don't think I've used it with my fingers. I don't think I have, but it's absolutely beautiful. It's in a frosted glass bottle. It just feels very luxe. How much did you cost? Let's just search. This was $20. I think it was well worth the price, and I would compare this to some higher end formulas. Don't know that I'd compare it one for one with my Tom Ford, but I definitely compare it to something more luxe. And you can see in the footage just how easily and beautifully this blends out. It does give, I don't know that the whole thing is glow, but it's not matte. It doesn't suck the hydration out of my skin. It ends up just looking beautiful, and it lasts for about 6 to 8 hours on me. But that's because I'm really hard on my makeup. I will lay down in the middle of the day, and I have yet to find a foundation that is completely transfer proof, especially when I have my face buried in my pillow. That's always a challenge. Always a challenge. But I like this foundation. I really do. I tried another foundation from Kiko that, let's just say, was less than impressive, and we'll go over that at the end. These are probably, of everything I've tested, near the like S tier top of my estimation as far as this haul goes. And they are these gorgeous cream face sticks. So I have one in a bronzer here. What shade is this? This is shade 200, and I have the blush in shade 80. So this blush is nice and desaturated. It's a little bit peachy. It's a little warm, and these blend out to the most beautiful silicone finish. They blur, they're just some of the prettiest face sticks I have ever used. They don't catch onto hairs, they don't stick in pores. The bronzer, you know, I have a hard time with bronzers because they tend to be orange. This one is not. It's a little warm, but it's not orange. The finish is this just absolutely beautiful, diffused, easy, just barely sun-kissed vibe that brings life to my skin without looking makeup-y. Like, I can build it up. These do build up beautifully. I've also layered another blush that I have on top of these, and they do build. They layer nicely. They layer other things on top of them, and you can build them up to a nice, rich impact without it looking too much and without it feeling too much. I do just love the finished look that these give my skin. I don't know how they do it. So these run about $16 each, which is downright cheap compared to a lot of the face sticks you find in Sephora. I think they're better quality than the stuff you find at the drugstore, but they are drugstore price points. Mind-blowing. I love them. I love these so much. I will continue to use these. I have gotten a fair amount of use out of these already. I've been using these for about 6 weeks, and I have neglected all of my Project Pan makeup in exchange for this bin of Kiko stuff that I've been playing with. I don't want to put these down. That's how much I like them. I don't want to put them away. I just want to keep them on my desk and keep using them. All right. So this, again, is probably in my top tier of the products that I have loved and that I will get more use out of. This is the Kiko Trio Blush in the shade, I have no idea which shade this is, because they put the labeling on the bottom in black text over a black sticker. So come on, Kiko, do better. I don't remember which shade I ordered this in. I can't read it on the bottom, and Amazon doesn't really tell me. But this is an eye, lip, and cheek. I've used it for all three. You know, a little concealer, a little bit of this, some brows and mascara, a kiss of bronzer because I can't leave the house without feeling like my face is balanced. But this is a fabulous do-it-all shade. The formula is really nice. The problem I have with a lot of these products that are supposed to be for the cheeks and the lips is that they're either too thin for the cheek or too much for the lips. This is neither. It's also really beautiful on the eyes. It's easy to blend out. And it is a fabulous all over product, color cheek product, one and done that does last. I have worn this on some sweaty days and it just sticks around. It sticks around. It's got a little tackiness compared to the sticks, but I feel like with a product like this, you want some tenacity. You want it to last. And I am in love with this little cheek product. It's fabulous. Going back to base, let's talk concealer. Now, if these look like an eyeshadow crayon, it's because they are in the exact same packaging as Kiko's eyeshadow crayons, which we'll talk about shortly. I have to praise the shade range on these because the lightest shade, first of all, I've used so much of it, I have to wind it up in order to use it. The lightest shade is going to be perfect for me in the cooler months. It's not bad now, but it does kind of reinforce that hollow brightness under my eyes that I don't love. The second shade is shade 02, and this is my perfect shade right now. It's a little deeper, which does balance out my face. I don't feel like I have to use bronzer to correct. I'm actually not wearing concealer right now at all. I'm just wearing the foundation. So these are not terribly expensive. I think they're about $12 to $13. So these are $14. The problem I have is that once you weigh it out pound for pound with other concealer sticks, you're actually paying a lot more for the product that you get in this, but the formula, I don't know that the formula is that incomparable to something that you would get at a lower price point. I love the finish. It's a nice satin finish. I don't feel the need to powder. It does last. I'm not even wearing it right now, so why do I keep touching my face? However, if you are willing to pay the $14, if you are looking for a good bargain concealer, and you're not really that concerned with how much product you're getting, I feel like these are a really good option, especially if you're just starting out and you don't know how much you want. My problem with a lot of concealers is you get so much that it's hard to actually finish the tube. These I feel like I can finish easily, but that's me. I have a rather large makeup collection. I have a number of concealers, and I didn't mind paying the $14 each because I knew I was just going to test the formula. I'm going to use them up and move on. So I don't know that these are necessarily going to be worth the cost to everybody. So that is something that you have to balance out and figure out for yourself, whether or not these are going to be worth it. I think the formula is beautiful. It's not too matte. They're nice and soft and creamy. They give you a lot of time to build and work. They've got this lovely silicone finish that just blends beautifully. The coverage is nice and even. You can build them up. I have covered my melasma entirely with them before. I think they're a beautiful formula, just a little pricey. All right, we were going to touch on eyeshadow. So I mentioned the eyeshadow sticks. These, I am not an aficionado of eyeshadow sticks, but I think I got two shades here that really work for what I need on a day-to-day, or when I'm putting eyeshadow on and I want to create a nice crease look before I go in and I put powder or cream on top of it. So these are $13, which is just, compared to the Ilia, compared to some of the higher end eyeshadow formulas, I haven't tried those. I haven't tried a lot of higher end eyeshadow sticks because eyeshadow sticks are just not my jam. However, these two, so I have shade 10 and shade 60. Shade 60 blew me out of the water. This is just an absolutely remarkable shade, especially for my needs. So I have a lot of darkness around my eyes when I wake up. That's just natural, especially on my eyelids. If I want to do just a basic makeup look, I have to go in and put something on my eyes to counterbalance that darkness so that my eyes match the rest of my face. This shade, which you can't, there we go. It's this light bubblegum pink that blends out and counterbalances that darkness and that depth. These are similar to the formula of the concealer, but they've got more pigment and they're a little more stick-to-itive, meaning that like they last on the eyes. Whereas if you just put, I have used the concealer as primer and it does work, but I really, really love this eyeshadow stick specifically. I don't know if this is going to get put away with the rest of my eyeshadows. I might just leave it out because it's so helpful at balancing my eyes. I have been using the Merit Solo Shadow, which has more pigment and is more evident. This is not. This just brightens and wakes up my eyes, and suddenly everything looks natural. I don't understand it, but it does, and it's so easy. Now, the other one, shade 10, is a gorgeous raisiny crease shade. And on me, it creates this really beautiful natural shadow and natural crease that just makes everything easier. I don't understand how these work, but it makes everything easier, including doing an eye like this with these beautiful glitter shadows. So this is the burgundy shade Insured. What is this? 09. So 09, normally glitter tend to have a lot of fallout. This doesn't. It says it's burgundy. It's more of like a soft red, soft rose. I absolutely love this shade. It's what I'm wearing on my eyes right now. You can layer it lightly if you just want a kiss of color, or it can be built up a little bit more. I wouldn't necessarily say it's high impact, but it's beautiful. It's easy. I'd say it's more of a everyday glitter. I have worn this to parties and it's beautiful. They make a bunch of different shades in this, and these are $14, which is about what something like this would run you at the drugstore. Are we seeing a pattern here? This is incredibly affordable makeup that performs, that just performs beautifully with very little effort. Not everything is a home run. We'll get there. All right, so this is the product that initially got me looking at Kiko Milano in the first place. This is one of their water shadows. This is in shade 11, which is this gorgeous burgundy raisin, and this will run about $15. The thing I love about this is the utility. You can layer it lightly. It's a beautiful shadow. It works with a brush really nicely. You can feather it out so you get just a natural looking shadow, or you can build it up. These build up really nicely. You get a nice rich effect. Look at that. Or you can take some water, do another nice thick swatchy swatch, and it melts into this metallic gorgeousness. That's an ugly swatch, but you can see the difference. You've got it lightly built up here. You've got it built up dry and then liquefied, which is just, I love this. And I love this color. This color is something that I will use and have used over and over again. It's something that I can throw in my bag if I'm traveling, and it's so lightweight that it just, I love this. I love this. Now, I will say the problem I had when choosing one of these is that the colors are a little pedantic. They're a little, you don't really have anything that classifies as a nude, as a beige. You know, you've got some bright blues, some bright silvers, some deep purples, some rich pinks. They're all pretty, but I had a hard time choosing one that would work into my collection and would work with my eyes and would work with the way that I wear my eyeshadow. And I think this one, I picked the tip top. I picked the perfect shade for me. All right, while we are on eyes, while we are still talking eyes, let's discuss some eyeliners. All right, I have a deep, unyielding love of eyeliners. They are something that I use to add drama to a look, that I use just to use on my waterline. They just help frame my eyes in a really beautiful way. And I love playing with colored eyeliners, and I haven't really found any that work with my style. I bought 5 eyeliners. 3 of these are the same formula, and we will get to those last. But we're going to talk about the 2 that I like, but I don't love as much as I like the 3 that I bought. So the first one we're going to talk about is the Intense Color Long Lasting Eyeliner. This is in the black shade. I ordered the metallic green and I just wasn't happy with it. It looked gray once I got it on my eyes and I smudged it out. It didn't have that intense metallic green shine that I wanted from a green eyeliner. The black, it's black. It's a black, creamy, I wouldn't necessarily call it a kohl eyeliner. It's more of a, it's a traditional pencil, but it does build up. It can transfer. So sometimes I do have to set this with a black eyeshadow. I don't love doing that, but if I'm wearing thick, smudgy black eyeliner, chances are I'm putting it on both lashes, and I don't care if it transfers, because that's the point sometimes. You want that smoky, mucky look. I don't currently have a black pencil, so this will slip into my collection seamlessly. My Urban Decay pencil finally bit the bullet, and I will now use this with a fair amount of pleasure. I gotta say, for the price, these are $12. So if you're looking for a traditional pencil eyeliner, it's got a thicker tip, it does have a smudger on the bottom, and it's a rather generous size. These are $12. So it's something worth taking into account. All right, the next is the, what are these called? Super Color Waterproof Eyeliner. So these do advertise themselves as waterproof. I don't remember if I had a chance to actually test that. Well, we can let it dry on my hand and give it a whirl. So this is another one that I'm a little lukewarm on, but I wanted to keep it because I don't have a rich purple like this. So this is how it initially goes on. If you smear it or smudge it or try and blend it in, or even layer it, it just picks itself up and it turns a little hazy. That being said, I think it's a beautiful color. We're gonna let this dry down and see how it actually does with waterproof, with being waterproof. Oh wait, no, I did a test. I wore a bunch of these on the back of my hand one day and they dried down and I washed my hands and I did all of the stuff. And I seem to remember these were the last man standing. These lasted in a way that nothing else did. Let's talk my favorite eyeliners of this haul. So these are the Unlimited Precision Automatic Eyeliners and Kohl Pencil. I gotta tell you, I have not found an eyeliner that is this easy to use. I don't even think the Victoria Beckham is as easy to use as these. They've got a beautiful glide, but I usually have to warm it up on the back of my hand. These, I take the lid off and they just work. So I have dark brown, which is what I'm wearing right now. I love a dark brown. Love, love, love a dark brown. And that's a dark brown. I got a burgundy because I love a burgundy liner. I love that it makes my eyes look vaguely threatening. You know, sometimes I want that, but it's also more of like a soft rose. It's a lovely color. And you'll notice this formula glides on. I don't even need to warm it up. It just goes on. The pencil itself, this is taupe. I haven't really had a good experience finding taupe eyeliners. I think this is a little too gray and a little too purple to be called a true taupe, but it is such a unique shade. I have not found anything like this in an eyeliner, and it just performs. These are spectacular. I've used these in my waterline. I use them on my lash line. You'll see that I put it on my right eye and then I put it on my left eye, and I still had time to work on the right eye before it dried down. And these do dry down. They don't smudge, they don't smear, they don't transfer. I am in love with this formula and I have a hard time resisting buying them all. They're also $14. They come with a nice shaped smudger. I usually find smudgers on the end of pencils to be a little redundant. This one is it's got a little bit more structure to it than others, meaning I can get in there and really get a beautiful, like, not a wing, but like a puppy line, which is what I go for. It does come with a sharpener on the other end, nice and easy to pull out. I am blown away by this formula. They are so pretty and so easy to use, and I think that they are worth every penny. I can't find a liner like this at the drugstore. I love the precision. I love the small tip. I haven't had them break on me either. That right there is a issue that I have with a lot of eyeliners, where I go to put it on and the tip just breaks off. And it makes me really, really mad. These don't do that. These don't do that, and it makes me so stinking happy. So that is the eyeliner saga of this journey. While we're on eyes, let's talk mascara. So this was one of the first products I bought back in early July, late June, early July. And when I first got it, I was blown away by the mechanism that opens this component. You're supposed to be able to push it in, twist lightly, and it pops out. As you use it, you get mascara in these little grooves in the threads that make it harder and harder to open. It's still a nice product if you have problems with dexterity. If you have problems holding and twisting, you know, this could be a good option, but I think it just gets a little tacky and a little sticky and a little harder to use over time. The brush, very basic. Nice long bristles, easy to use, easy to apply. Even with this size, I can get on the inner lashes. You do get a bit of product stuck to the end, so I end up needing to wipe it off on the edge of the tube. This particular mascara is the 24-hour long-lasting and panoramic mascara. Kiko makes a ton of mascaras. I chose one. I chose one mascara, and that's it. There are tons of options, and I cannot speak to the validity of any of them except the one I've been trying, which I like. You know, I've been using my Milano tubing for so long that I'm spoiled. But if you're looking for a nice feathery, easy to build, like this does and can build up to a nice dramatic lash, it's also super soft. I don't feel like I actually have mascara on my lashes. It just performs. It doesn't smudge, it doesn't smear. I haven't had any problems with flakiness. Flakiness for me is the kiss of death for any mascara. If it flakes, it's done. This doesn't do that. As it wears, I've had this open a little more than a month. You do get a little bit of balling up on the lashes, but those brush through really easily. They don't stick around. I think it's just the amount of product that builds up on the wand over time as it has a chance to dry out. But I like this mascara. I'm going to use it until it's gone. I'm going to go back to my Milano because it's my favorite. It's my favorite, and it does such a beautiful job. This mascara does wash off really nicely. I haven't had any problems with it gathering or sticking around or being too difficult to remove. It does not advertise itself as being waterproof. That's a thing that I have problems. I have problems with waterproof mascaras. This isn't that. And it's really nice. It does last. I don't have problems with my lashes dropping. I just have naturally like upright lashes. I have naturally lifted lashes. I don't tend to have a lot of problems with mascaras dragging down my eyelashes. So I can't really speak to whether or not this adds to that because I don't have that issue. But I do like it and I have been using it and I will continue to use it until it is dried up. All right, let's talk about this powder. So this is the Radiant Fusion Baked Powder. This is supposed to have a bit of a luminous quality. I think it's supposed to dupe like the Hourglass dim lighting. Their nice little setting powder that's got a little bit of luminosity to it. This was $18. And I have to say, of all of the packaging that I have interacted with, this is some of my favorite, and I'll show you why. So it's, first of all, it's a baked powder that's nice and flat. I greatly appreciate that. It's got a nice, the clamshell doesn't have any kind of magnetizing. It doesn't have any kind of a clasp. It just has this nice, soft folding hinge. It does have a decent sized mirror. I don't use mirrors in compacts. I just don't. I like my larger mirror that I can get really close to and see detail. But I love this powder. I love this powder. I don't have anything like it and I'm just blown away. So I have compared this to my Kosas powder, which is one of my favorites. It's been loved. So just with a general swipe. So this is the Kiko, this is the Kosas. The Kosas has more coverage and it's also more of a setting powder. It's a little richer. So that's the Kosas and that's the Kiko. The Kiko is a veil. It is a powdery veil that just diffuses and blurs and just, if you have dry skin, this powder is a wonder. None of these eyeliners want to come off my hand, by the way. I'm using micellar water and a microfiber towel. None of them want to remove. I use this in the middle of my forehead to kind of blur a lot of that light. I've used it in my marionette lines, used it around my mouth just to blur the shine. And that is what this powder is specifically designed for, is just diffusion. And I adore it. I really, this is again, one of my favorite products that I have used. And I do love that soft closure. It's really satisfying. Boom. I also think if you are somebody or know somebody who has dexterity issues, this is a fabulous, fabulous powder. You don't have to unscrew anything. It's a nice, easy to open and close compact. And it's just such a pretty powder. We have 2 lip products to talk about. And then we will talk about the nays. These are all the yays. These are all of the things that I really loved and appreciated and will continue to enjoy. The nays, quite a few of them, and we will discuss. So one of the things Kiko is known for are their lipsticks. And I tried and I tried. But between the formula, all of the formulas, there's so many, it's literally overwhelming. So I ended up getting a color balm and a regular lip gloss. I made the mistake of buying one of their Hydra Extreme lip glosses. Let me tells ya, I have grown in my 40s to appreciate a little spice, a little tingle in my food. I do not want my lips to feel like I have covered them in cayenne pepper. That is what that lip gloss felt like. This doesn't do that. This is just a really beautiful, rich gloss. I did make the mistake of putting it in the corners. And I find just for me, that's a problem that I have with a lot of lip glosses. It's not exclusive to this formula. This is just their Hydra 3D gloss in shade 20. It's this beautiful nude. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you that swatch. Right there. Really easy to wear, easy to put on, beautiful nude. It does remind me a little bit of Café Niçoise from Khaki Reviews Beauty. They've got a nice, easy vanilla scent that's just comforting and fun and easy to wear. this is something that's gonna go from season to season with me. And then I bought one of their colored balms. This is in shade 08, and it's right there. It's a very easy, thin balm. I would dare to compare this to the Lisa Eldridge Melting Color Balms. I know, that's a hot take. That is a hot take. But I do really like this. I'll put this on before I start my makeup, and it does a lovely job at hydrating my lips. The color is just so pale, so diffused, and it just does a gorgeous job at hydrating and giving my lips a little bit something that I can build a look around without feeling overwhelmed. The Hydra Gloss sticks around, but it's not sticky. It doesn't interact with my saliva and get stringy and sticky and gross, which is one of my big pet peeves with lip glosses in general, because they can be so rich that they just stick to themselves, and I don't want that. The Edam lip glosses do that, and the only time I appreciate that is when I'm trying to just be silent and go to sleep. So y'all, that is everything. That is 20 Kiko Milano products that I tested. I bought these slowly over time. I didn't spend all of that money all at once. We're gonna go through my Amazon purchase orders, and we're gonna talk about the stuff that I did not love. And I'll tell y'all why. For this, I need the glasses. Yay, glasses. All right, I'm gonna spray the back of my hand with micellar water and see if these eyeliners will come off. I mean, I have to work to do it, but they did come off. All right, cool. So the first, oh God, I'd forgotten about those. All right, so the first 4 products that I tried were their powder blush. I did get the water shadow in a shade that was just completely wrong for me. I got it in this like deep taupe, and it looked like I had a black eye. It was not the shade for me. I think I mentioned that the shades are a little, they're lacking. They're lacking. They need some more shades that are just a little bit nuder, a little bit more beige. The powder blush, it was just, it was stiff, it was dry, and it had glitter in it. It was supposed to be a radiant finish. It just had glitter. I was not pleased. Their eyeshadow quads. I tried their powder eyeshadows more times than I care to count. I bought some singles, I bought some quads. They do sell some larger palettes that I was tempted to try, but I just couldn't be bothered. Their powder formula is nice enough. It's a little loose, it's got a little bit of dustiness to it, but it does blend nicely. I just was not impressed with the colors. I was not impressed with the color stories of any of the 4 quads that they offered. I think they only had 3 for sale, and it just didn't do it for me. So I returned them, and I've been more than happy with the 2 eyeshadows, the 2 like dry eyeshadows I have from them. I tried the Unlimited Stilo Long Lasting 10-Hour Creamy Lipstick. I have not tried a lip formula that I disliked as much as the Westman Atelier. Felt dry. It felt like I was smearing clay on my lips. And yo, I work with clay. I love clay. I don't want to wear it on my face. It felt dry. It felt like someone had just put all of these dry granules into a matte lipstick. It was not pleasant. It was just a no from the very outset of putting it on. I can't even give y'all a testimonial about the color because it just did not do it for me. I didn't enjoy it. Oh God, that foundation. I forgot how much I hated that foundation. All right, so I tried the Kiko Milano Unlimited Foundation. This was not the matte foundation. This was just their regular foundation. And I bought it in the lightest shade. And let me tell you, squirted it out of the tube, and it was SpongeBob SquarePants yellow. It was full on yellow. And even when I tried just the formula, ignoring the shade, it looked like my forehead has lines and wrinkles. I'm 43 years old. It looked like cement. It looked crackly and whole. Oh, it broke up. It didn't settle nicely. It was just, I wasn't even going to give it a full day wear test. It just was awful. It looked horrible on me. Maybe if you have oilier skin, maybe you have a different skin texture, it might work for you. It did not work for me. It was unfortunate. It was unfortunate. I mentioned the 3D Hydra Extreme Gloss that just turned my lips red and puffy, and I don't want plumpy lips like that. If I want plump lips, I have formulas that work for that without causing the pain that that lip gloss caused. Oh, the face palettes. I tried 2 different face palettes. I tried one that was supposed to be a blush, a highlight, or a matte blush, a like sheenier blush highlighter, and a bronzer. The bronzer I seem to remember enjoying. I think that was that, and the powder blush was a beautiful color. It was light, it was diffused, it was easy to wear, but man, that highlighter, that highlighty blush, again, just sheer glitter, sheer, like just, oh, it looked terrible. I didn't like it, and I was not about to keep a trio of which I couldn't use one of the pans. So I returned it. I then bought one of their Contour Obsession palettes in the lightest shade. The contour was gray, which is normally what you want in a contour, but it was so opaque gray that it didn't blend in. It didn't blend in. The bronzer did that weird orange to green thing that I don't understand how bronzer formulas do it. I don't understand the color theory behind a bronzer that is both orange and green, because they're counterproductive. They don't seem to really mesh, but they look horrible as bronzers. There was also a highlighter in there, and look, had it been 2016 and I've been looking for a highlighter that could be seen from outer space, I maybe would have tried it. I didn't wanna. I put it on a couple of times and it was terrible. It settled into my fine lines. It emphasized what little texture I have on my cheeks. It was bad. It was bad. I was not impressed. And I did not even give it so much as I gave it a chance, and it was just no. No, baby cakes. It was a no. So now I'm getting into the things that I bought recently and I really loved. I did also try one of their Everlasting Lip Precision lip liners. I was relatively impressed by the formula. It was this nice, tacky, stick-to-itive lip liner, which if I'm wearing a lip liner, chances are I'm filling in my entire lips, and that's what I want. I didn't find any nuance in the shade range, in the colors that were offered, and this was a problem I had throughout shopping Kiko, was that a lot of their colors just didn't have the ruddiness, the nudiness, the grunge that I tend to really go for when I look for makeup. When I'm buying makeup, I tend to go for the shades that are a little more grungy, a little more nude, a little more beige. And there were some that really worked. The precision eyeliners, those colors are gorgeous. The cheek sticks, those colors are beautiful. But a lot of their products, like their lipsticks and their eyeshadows, were just very much straightforward, down the line, what you would expect to find at the drugstore. So I I was not impressed, and I had the same issue with that lip liner. It was supposed to be like a soft rose, and it was pink. It was bright pink, and that is not what I'm going for. So that ended up going back too. So overall, I think I found the handful of products. I tested 20 products for this video. This has been a long time in the making, and I'm really glad that I did this because I've been looking forward to trying Kiko, and when I heard that they were available in the States, I got really excited and I was like, okay, let's do this. And I think I found some products that were real hits. I also came across some products that were real misses. I didn't try any of the lipsticks, mostly because I couldn't, well, I didn't try most of the lipsticks. I tried one and I was not impressed. So I was like, nope, not going there anymore. I didn't try their viral lip products because people have talked about it. It's also not my style. I was looking for makeup here that matched my aesthetic. And a lot of their colors were just beyond the pale of what I enjoy. So that is also something to take into account with these products. Overall, I'm pleased. I'm really pleased with what I ended up keeping and what I talked about in this video as far as formula, as far as color. The packaging is a little, it's fine. It's fine. It's middle of the road. It doesn't feel super drugstore. It also doesn't, some of it feels more luxe. Some of it feels a little more cheap, but I am not a packaging queen. As long as it contains the product and it doesn't break, I'm fine. I'm fine with that. I appreciate a foundation in a nice glass bottle. I appreciate the soft close mechanism on that powder. I appreciate the easy to open mascara and lip glosses, but I don't care how heavy it is. I don't care if I can throw it across the room and it not break. I don't tend to throw my makeup across. So that is going to do it for today's video. If you have tried any Kiko Milano makeup that you were just blown away that I didn't discuss in this video, let me know down below. I'm always curious. I might try some new stuff later. This is a project that I do once a year where I buy a bunch of stuff from one brand and do a review. Last year it was CL. This year it's Kiko. So if you are new here, welcome. My name is Rachel. I'm an artist. I'm disabled. I'm neurodivergent. I love beauty. I love makeup. I love reviewing makeup, but I don't do it very often because it can be expensive. Makeup is still expensive. I hope y'all are taking care of yourselves so you can take care of each other. And I will see you all in my next one. Bye, friends.